What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with my Week 7 edition of Buy Low, Sell High. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to stick around for the rest of the fantasy football season. This is your one-stop shop to help you bring home that fantasy football championship. We have all your waiver wire information, weekly rankings, trade advice, as well as I answer all questions that are put in the comment section down below. So if you need trade advice, start sits, anything you need, I can help you out with your specific league formats, your specific roster, all that type of stuff. I've got no problem doing it, and it just gives you that edge over all your league mates to bring home that fantasy football championship this year. Okay, so let's dive into this. We've hit on a bunch of guys in buy low, sell high. Breece Hall this last week had a monster game. He was a buy low the week previous. Dell, buy low the week previous. We've had some other monsters on this series so far that have hit really big. And now we're going to talk some of our sell highs. So we're moving to the running back position for now. And the sell high for this week is Bijan Robinson. So he currently is sitting right around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, RB8 on the year. But I think I would try to flip him off of this game against Carolina. Algier is going to receive a good amount of carries on a weekly basis. I don't think that role is going to go away. I do think this team wants to throw the ball more than they want to run it. I think Bijan's a very talented player. I have no problem keeping him. But if I'm able to trade a Bijan Robinson into a Kyren Williams, a Saquon Barkley, a Derrick Henry, a Breece Hall, a Kenneth Walker, I'm absolutely going to exhaust my options to see if I can do that. I think all of those guys are a tier above him to me. Another name we're going to touch on here, Jordan Mason, is another trade away to me. Reason being, he has that dealing with a shoulder injury. Christian McCaffrey could be returning soon. You might be able to flip him while he's a few weeks remaining of value and be able to get a really top tier option for him. There's a lot of teams that need to win right now that are RB needy. So that's definitely a good place to look. I think you could flip Jordan Mason for quite a few good players. Moving on to the wide receiver position for my sell highs, we have here at number 8, Allen Lazard. I think he's a definite sell high. The recent addition of Devontae Adams, I would just try to flip him while he's still the wide receiver 8. You're not going to be able to get a haul for him by any means, but you can trade him for some type of asset. Take him and a Bijan, for example, or someone of that tier. Trade them together and be able to make a really good move for one of those guys. Moving on to my buy lows. So first off, if you play in 2 quarterback leagues, I think Aaron Rodgers he's already out there, but he's a buy low to me. I think he'll be good with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson both in the fold now. Moving on to the wide receiver position, though, this guy is down the list quite a bit. We're going to find him, though. It is Tyreek Hill. He is a must-buy low to me if you have more than 4 wins right now. If you're at 4 or more, 4-2, 5-1, this is a guy you should be taking a look at. Tua should be back relatively shortly, and then you're going to get a league winner quality receiver, a guy who's going to be top 5 rest of season as position, and it can give you those giant blow-up games that just put you over the top. I think he's a definite buy low right now. Another name I want to throw out there, this one's more coming off of a poor week, but Brian Thomas Jr. to me is a definite buy low. He's a wide receiver 11. They played in Chicago and Jalen Johnson this last week. It was projected a low week for him, but have you seen the type of target volumes he's been getting? And he's quite talented. Rookie receivers typically have 20% more production over the second half of the season. So I would bet on Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's a great talent. Like I said, he's the number 1 wide receiver on that team. And you could acquire him right now for a little bit lower than I think his current value is. Malik Neighbors, too. This one's more of just a throw-in, but if you can trade low on Malik Neighbors, absolutely try to do that if you can. Another guy, he was a part of a trade recently. You might not be able to buy low on him. I don't even know if he's on here. He is. Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper with the Buffalo Bills now. That wide receiver depth chart's pretty void. They really don't have any threats in the passing game that I would be concerned with. And now you get that trade to Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. I think he's going to be the number 1 receiver, number 1 target for this team. Massive upgrade for him over to Deshaun Watson, obviously. And I think give him a week or 2, and he's going to start rolling and be definitely a top 20 guy for fantasy football, maybe even top 15 rest of the season. Another guy, this is a massive buy low opportunity to me. It's DK Metcalf. He's currently sitting here at the wide receiver 16. But if you look at the type of target volume he's getting, and the lack of touchdowns to go along with it. He's had 2 touchdowns this year. With that type of volume and just some of the plays he's had called back via penalty, via foot being out by the smallest of margins, I think DK's got a lot left on the bone this year to move forward. One other guy I wanted to throw out there, it's CD Lamb. So he's a wide receiver 10 currently, but still, if you can buy him on the buy from Win Now team, I think he's going to be a smash player rest of season. We're going to move over to a few tight ends I have as buy lows as well. Two of these guys on the list, Jake Ferguson's on buy. I think he's a definite buy low. The type of target volume he's getting, and last year we saw him get a lot of high volume targets in the red zone. I expect that trend to continue. But just kind of some overall disappointing weeks. But you start adding in a touchdown in some of these weeks, he's going to be really good for fantasy football, and people just haven't seen it yet, so they don't know. Another guy I will throw out there, he's not going to be on this list, David Njoku. With Amari Cooper leaving town and the way that this team functions currently, I think he had 7 targets this last week, played a full allotment of snaps. Well, full allotment. He played 74% of snaps, but that's a very good number for a full-time player. Moving forward, I think he should be targeted a lot. I think it'll be shorter targets that are relatively easy to catch. I think he's going to be able to volume and kind of garbage time his way to pretty solid fantasy weeks. I think he's going to have a pretty safe floor. And just from a volume perspective, he might even give you a little bit of upside. But I think this is a guy you can go out and buy for pennies right now. I think it would be a really good move. Moving on to the rest of our buy lows, we're going to take a look at the running back position right quick, just so I can throw out any additional buy lows I think are out there on the market. Looking at this, if you can make a trade for Jonathan Taylor, it's probably going to be tough, but I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be a smash play this week and moving forward. Josh Jacobs is receiving a ton of volume so far this season, just hasn't really got it going in the touchdown department. But his rushing numbers, they look somewhat bleak, but he's actually graded out pretty well. He's on a good offense. I expect things to start to fall his way. Jordan Love has just thrown a lot of passing touchdowns. I think that'll balance out over the course of the season. Like I said, it's a good offense, and you can really buy low on him right now. Another guy I want to throw out there, Ramondre Stevenson. Drake May is getting some work done on his knee, or getting his knee looked at to see if he needs any work. Hopefully that's just precautionary, but assuming Drake May is a starter for them this week, he provides another level of upside to this offense. And when Ramondre Stevenson returns and gets this type of volume in a better offense, I think he can be really good for fantasy football. And again, a guy you can buy really low. I'll throw out a sell high as well, one more. Alexander Madison to me is a absolute sell high. So much of his production this season has come from touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns this year in 6 games. I don't know if that's really sustainable, the type of volume he gets. Now that volume number has gone up. I do think he's probably the lead back for the Raiders. I don't think this team is very good, though. I think he's got some touchdown luck. So if I could flip him into a Josh Jacobs, if I could take Allen Lazard and him and flip him into Josh Jacobs, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Even a Brian Robinson Jr., James Conner, a lot of these guys I threw out there I think would be good additions. So I'm just going to go over the lists here real quick for my buy lows. I had Aaron Rodgers in 2 quarterback leagues, Tyreek Hill, Brian Robinson Jr., Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf. At the tight end position, Jake Ferguson, David Njoku. At running back, we had Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Taylor. Again, Taylor's probably values too high, but coming off that injury, see what you can do. Just check in. And then our sell highs were Allen Lazard, Jordan Mason, and Bijan Robinson. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to stick around and win that fantasy football championship. Rub it in your friends and family's faces. This has been Fantasy Joe, like I said already, but thank you guys for watching. And until next time, peace out.